What's going on, Reef Builders? I am Jake Adams and I'm coming back to you from the Reef Builder Studio. We've had a number of coral focused videos and it's been a while since we've done any kind of fish style videos, in about 4 months since I've got a really nice new fish. So this video, brought to you by Among the Reef, reefbuilders.com website sponsor, is going to showcase a small range of fish from the Caribbean that are one of my favorite groups, and I'm talking about the Leopropoma dwarf basslets. These things are colorful, they're hardy, they live a long time, and they have a ton of personality. There's really just no other group of fish that does it for me quite like the Leopropoma. So we have 3 different levels of rarity and obtainability from these basslets, these Caribbean basslets in particular, sent to me by Among the Reef this morning. I've already opened the box just to make sure the fish are okay while I set up this video. So let's crack it open and see what's inside. Okay, so the first fish we're gonna pull out of the box is the Swiss Guard basslet. This is a fish that you might find at your local fish store, and it is red with some yellow striping. We're gonna go ahead and let him out of this very big bag right here. That is a very heavy duty packing job. This normally wouldn't fall under the purview of Among the Reef. I really wanted to showcase the range of the Caribbean basslets. For those of you that can't afford the more expensive version, you can be on the lookout for the Caribbean Swiss Guard. Now this fish is very similar to the Swalez Swiss Guard. I don't know why the Swalezi basslet started getting called the Swiss Guard as well, but they're very similar in their pattern, but quite different in the colors of those patterns. Those of you watching that actually have any Leopropomas in your tank, you already know these things are just packed with personality and character. Really fun, super hardy fish. Next up is a fish that you might have to look out for a little bit more. Not sure how much this guy's pretty agitated. I don't know. This is a fish, this one's a little bit on the small side for this one. They all get to about, let's just say like 3.5 inches, maybe 3 inches for the cave basslet. So really not huge fish, so they don't even have a big enough mouth to do damage to a lot of different like small incrustations, and only like the tiniest little nano gobies are in danger from these fish whatsoever. But otherwise, they're going to be perfect inhabitants of a small fish community aquarium or a small reef tank. And then finally, I've actually had these fish before, but the last fish we're going to pull out is the mythical candy basslet. Now, I've never had one of these myself, and these guys definitely typify kind of some of the rare exotic nano fish you might be able to see from the Caribbean. And it's almost the same pattern as a Swiss Guard basslet, but totally different coloration. Instead of being red with white stripes, they are yellow with purple stripes. Totally crazy fish. So here's the crazy part. Among the Reef told me that they kept these all together, and that's the other thing. You can usually keep pairs of these fish together or keep them with other not closely related species and they can get along. So we're going to acclimate them in the same tank, and I'm going to keep them all together for a while before I put them into a display tank all together. So I'm going to inspect them for a little bit and see how they're doing. Oh boy, it's been a very exciting evening, I would say. We had a little flood come through here at the studio, so I've been handling that for a minute. But in the meantime, the pH has been rising on these fish, and that's important because when fish are shipped, the CO2 builds up in their water and causes the pH to drop. So this is the most important aspect of acclimation that you want to take care of. So I've already tested the pH on the fish system where these guys are going to go, and it's right at about 8.2. And as you can see, with a few water additions, and just the air stone running, it's dislodging the CO2. So now it's time to finally put the fish in their intermediate home. It's not their final home, but we're gonna go ahead and grab these guys right quick. This is another good time to mention that I use nets for almost nothing. I always use specimen cups because this is the gentlest way to handle fish. So watch this. I could probably get these fish in here without looking. So let's see if we can get this in here. And without looking, I'm just gonna go broop, broop, boop, 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 and yes, look at that. Without looking, you just kind of know where the fish are gonna go. It's always much better. If you wanna come in from a close up and see our new beautiful fish, we got the candy, Swiss guard, and the cave basslet. Cave basslet might look a little muted right now, but this fish develops a really delicate pink coloration. Oh man, these fish are looking delicious. I've never had a candy basslet before, but I'm really excited to have it. So let's take them over to their intermediate home. I've kind of set it up a little bit like a SpongeBob SquarePants castle in a little way. You can see that I've got some colorful artificial ornaments. And what's really interesting about this one right here is maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I got my first rainbow basslet, and that was in its quarantine tank. So one of the things I'm hoping for is the Swiss guard and the cave and the candy to get along and form a beautiful relationship couple because they're gonna be living together in the same tank. I'm pretty sure they're gonna disappear right away. I kind of want them to do that, so let's see what they do. Ooh, go to your new home. Oh, they're so beautiful. They're so pretty. And one is hiding. A couple are not hiding. The cave basslet's going to the cave as you would expect. And then the Swiss guard is almost there. He's gonna find his forever home pretty soon. And there they go. Well, cave basslet came back to check things out. So we're gonna let them settle in for a day or two. We'll come back and talk about getting them trained on the food that I like to feed. So it's been about a month since I originally received this fish. It took a little bit longer to circle back to do the follow-up video on these basslets, but in all honesty, I've just taken the time to get to know the fish a little bit more, learn their habits, learn their behaviors in between each other. As you may know, I'm kind of famous for pretty much only feeding prepared foods to most of my fish. When I first gave them some flake food, there was definitely a moment where they're like, you know, what is that? So only a couple times that I'd give them a little bit of mysis shrimp just to fatten them up a little bit, but within days they quickly took to it, and now it's been a month and I pretty much only feed them flake food. What else? The fish are all kind of getting along. Unfortunately, the candy basslet seems to be a little bit more dominant relative to the other fish, so it owns both caves and kind of pushes the other two fish out. So the candy basslet is the one that I see the least. The cave basslet is always up here at the front. It's developed some of that delicate pink coloration that I had mentioned before, a little bit of yellow on the snout and bright blue margins to the fins. The Swiss guard is very, very visible from a distance away from this tank, and the candy basslet is the only one that kind of have to get close up on to get a good look at it. Hopefully the B-roll is really demonstrating what these fish can do, but now that it's been a month and these fish are fully conditioned, second quarantine because Among the Reef, already did their thing. Just whenever I have some time, I'm going to polish up a reef tank, a Nano reef tank that's very cavey and kind of dimly lit for these fish to go into. So make sure to comment if you have any questions about basslets, like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe so you can see where these guys are going to go into their final home eventually in a reef aquarium setting. So thanks again to Among the Reef for making this video possible. These are some really cool, fun fish, and if you're looking for any interesting fish for your aquariums that might be a little bit off the beaten path, definitely check out amongthereef.com and give them a look. So thank you for joining me on this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one.